Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. Today I'm going to share how to make a gorgeous fall-themed birthday card. I'll be using two new items from This Calls for Confetti. First is the Alice's Birthday Sentiment Set, a stack of birthday phrases designed to pair beautifully with the tiered cake. You'll also find two extra sentiments in the set for more versatility. The second is the 3-tier cake layering stencil set. This one includes 3 stencils, a base plate, and 2 layering stencils so that you can build your cake in as many ways as you'd like. As I create today's project, I'll bring in a few additional supplies. As always, feel free to use what you already have in your craft room, but if you would like a list of the items I'm using, one can be found in the description box below, along with my affiliate link to the This Calls for Confetti shop. Let's get started with the project. To get started, I have already cut my front card panel to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I die cut a circular window at the top and ran the panel through my die cut machine with the plaid texture die. This created some lovely stitched detail. I have also cut a back panel at 5 1/4 by 4 inches for our stencil cake. Let's start with the cake stand. I'm using the base plate stencil, but just a portion of the image, so it looks like a full stand peeking out from the circle. I'm going to add a soft gray to create shadows on the edges. I'm going to feather the pumice stone ink towards the center lightly. To create a metallic shine, I'm going to blend speckled egg ink over the top. This gives it the look of silver. Let's remove the stencil. How lovely is that? Now for the fun part. We're going to create our cake layers. There are multiple tiers on this cake, but we're just going to use these 4. I've already placed the stencil so that it overlaps the cake stand slightly. And now I'm going to mask off the top and bottom layers so I don't get ink in these open stencil areas. With ground espresso ink, I'm going to build up some rich shadows for chocolate cake layers. We're going to create a light and shadow effect, just like you would with alcohol markers. To create a warm highlight, I'm going to add some vintage photo in the center. I'm going to tap off the excess ink so that this is a bit translucent over the darker color. Of course, you can use any colors that you want for your cake layers. You could use a yellow for vanilla, a red for a red velvet, or even a rainbow cake, depending on your theme. Since this is a fall design, I chose warmer tones for mine today. Let's remove the stencil so that you can see how lovely these look with the light and shadow. Doesn't that look yummy? All right, let's bring in our frosting layers. Normally, you would butt this stencil right up to the previous layer so that the frosting touches the cake image. I'm going to shift my stencils slightly so that I leave a little bit of white space to create the look of an extra layer of frosting. The space here will remain white after I add my ink. Just like before, we're going to create some shadows and highlights. I'm going to start with Dusty Concord around the edges and create some depth. With milled lavender ink, I'm going to lighten the center to mimic the highlights in frosting. Now, instead of only adding ink to the center, I'm also going to blend this over the top of the darker hue. The deep purple is going to fade slightly, and when this ink dries, it will have a beautiful matte finish, just like creamy frosting. Let's remove the stencil so that you can see how beautiful this looks. All right, I'm going to set this aside so that the inks can dry a moment. As they do, we're going to work on the sentiment. I'm going to stamp the script Happy Birthday phrase from the Alice's Birthday Sentiments in black soot distress oxide ink. I'm going to sprinkle a little clear powder over the top. Then I'll heat set this with a heat tool. I'm going to grab the matching die and cut this out real quick. Then I'll show you how to assemble the card. I've added foam tape behind the front panel and I'm layering it over the cake design. You could absolutely make this into a shaker card, but today we're going to keep it simple. The base is a dusky purple cardstock, which ties perfectly with the frosting. For a bit of fall flair, I have die cut some leaves. I inked up cardstock with abandoned coral and fossilized amber, then cut out the images using the Autumn Artesian die set. I'm going to tuck these behind the sentiment over here on the left. I'm just going to glue these in place real quick, and then I'll add some foam tape to the back of my die cut phrase and lay it over the top. At this point, we can call the card finished, but I love sharing ways that you can add some extra details to your cards to make them shine. With a white gel pen, I'm going to dot some little air bubbles into the cake layers. I'm just randomly adding these, and you can instantly see how the cake comes to life. With a little bit larger gel pen, I'm going to add some soft highlights onto the frosting. Again, this step is not necessary, but something as simple as pen details add so much to a card. The last step is to scatter a few flat gold pearls around the frame. These pair beautifully with the leaves on the card. And that's it. A warm, fall-inspired birthday card that's simple, elegant, and so easy to customize. Imagine this in bright colors for a party, in red and black for Halloween, or even white and gold for a wedding. The 3-tier cake stencil set gives you endless possibilities. If you'd like more inspiration or want to share your own creations, come join us in the This Calls for Confetti Facebook group. It's such a fun and supportive community of card makers. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.